Hey guys, today what I'm going to be talking about is percent of change. And percent of change is really similar to the ratios and proportions that we've been doing, especially those word problems, except for we're going to be talking about a very special ratio or proportion. It's called a percent. And hopefully you guys all know that a percent is out of 100. So we're going to be using that fact when we do this. So a percent of change is, in fact, a ratio of the change in an amount to the original amount expressed as a percent. And I just want to remind you too, please pause this at any point throughout the video to catch up. I know that was a lot of writing there, and we're going to be doing a word problem a little bit too. Alright, so one example we're going to be looking at is if we have, say we're given the original to be 20 and our final to be 23. So there are going to be two things we need to figure out with this. Oh, I'm sorry, you couldn't see my final there. Alright, the original was 20 and the final was 23. Alright, so the original of 20 and the final of 23. So there's two things we need to figure out. One, we need to determine if this is going to be an increase or a decrease, and then we need to find out what that actual percentage would be. So to find the if it's an increase or a decrease, what we do is we're going to subtract. Oops. Oh man, sorry guys. There's apparently a magic button that erases everything. Alright, so we're going to start by subtracting the original from the final. So that would be the final. That's going to take the original away from the final. So it's going to be 23 minus 20, which is going to give us a positive 3. So since it comes out to be positive, this is going to be an increase. I could also look and see that my final is bigger than my original, so it's going to be an increase. So either way, we look at this. This is an increase. And we are going to use that 3 now. So now I need to find that actual percent increase. So what I'm going to do is I have to set up a ratio, and I need to know what that percentage is from my original did it increase from. So I'm going to take that change and set it over my original. So that was the change over the original. And then I'm going to set this equal to, now I want to know what the percentage is of this change. So I'm going to set that as x over 100, because remember we talked early in the video, a percentage is out of 100. So that's why I'm going x out of 100. And again here, just like we've been doing, we'll cross multiply. We'll get 300 equals 20x. Divide both sides by 20. And so that is going to give me 15. So this was a 15% increase for this problem. Alright, let's look at another example, and I will try better to keep inside that box. Sorry. Alright, this time the original is 25 and the final is going to be 17. Alright, so we need to determine if this is a decrease or an increase. So I can just look at this and I can say that my final is smaller than my original, so I do know it is going to be a decrease. But I still want to take and subtract, do the final subtracting the original, because I'm going to need to know what that actual number is. So I take 17 minus 25 and I get a negative 8. So now this is where I have to set up to find out what that percentage is. So I'm going to just write here real quick. This is a decrease, so we don't forget. So I'm going to take the change. Again, we'll take the change over the original. So the change was -8, and the original was 25. And that's going to equal percent, but I don't know what the percent is, but it's going to be something out of 100. Cross multiply, we get -800 equals 25x. Divided by 25. So x is going to equal -32. Now, this is the part, we know it's going to be percentage. But because percentages aren't technically negative, I'm going to just say it's 32% decrease. That decrease shows us that negative portion of it. Alright, what we're going to look at now is something called a sales tax. Now, you guys obviously know how to do sales. You know what sales tax are. You get it on almost everything you buy. So what we're going to practice is finding what the sales tax is and then adding it so we can get our total. Alright, so this person, Marta, is buying wire and beads to make jewelry. Her, it says merchandise, but I'm just writing stuff because as you can see my handwriting is not going that well on here, is $28.62, so $28.62 before tax. If the tax is 7.25% of the total, what is the final cost? All right. So, in order to find the percentage of a number, we first have to take the percent and write it as a decimal. So when we want to write it as a decimal, hopefully you guys kind of remember this, you take the decimal point where it is and you move it 2 spots to the left. Okay, so now 7.25% is going to become 0.0725. And then when I want to find the percentage of this, of the 28.62, I'm going to just multiply it by that decimal point. Okay, so I take 0.0725, multiply it by 28.62, and I do that straight up in the calculator, and that's going to give me, and I'm going to round, we get 2.07, and I think it's like 4 or 5 or something like that. I'm just going to keep it at 2.07 because I know I'm talking about money, so pennies is the smallest one, and so that one would just round to 7. So this is how much sales tax I have. So now I need to take this and add it to my original so I know how much I'm purchasing altogether. So that I take 28.62 and I'm going to add 2.07, and that is going to give me 30.69, but we remember we're talking about dollars here, so I got to add that dollar sign there. All right, good luck.